Imagine waking up surrounded by prices, but having no idea what real wealth actually means. Everywhere he looked, people chased more money, believing happiness was waiting at the next purchase. He counted every coin he owned, wondering if having more would finally bring him peace. Soon, dreams of riches filled his mind. Bigger houses, more gold, a life everyone would envy. Then an old teacher shared one sentence that completely changed the way he saw money forever. The teacher quietly read the words of Jesus, "Where your treasure is, there your heart will be also." At that moment, everything began to make sense. He suddenly realized money wasn't the problem. The real danger was allowing money to become the master of his heart. He saw two families. One owned great wealth, but lived with constant conflict. The other owned very little, yet their home overflowed with joy, peace, and love. For the first time in his life, he stopped asking God to make him richer and started asking God to make him wiser. That very day, he shared one silver coin with a poor widow. It seemed like a small act, but it became the first step toward true biblical wealth. Something unexpected happened. His wallet looked exactly the same, but his heart felt lighter than it ever had before. Instead of searching for shortcuts, he chose honest work. Every sunrise became another opportunity to serve God through faithfulness. Little by little, people noticed his integrity. More customers trusted him, and God quietly blessed the work of his hands. He stopped spending without purpose. Every coin received a job, caring for his family, meeting his needs, saving wisely, and helping others. That's when he finally understood one powerful truth. Money is an incredible servant, but it makes a terrible master. As the seasons passed, his harvest slowly grew. Success didn't happen overnight. It grew one faithful decision at a time. He stored part of every harvest instead of spending everything immediately. Wisdom always prepares for tomorrow. Whenever someone struggled, he was ready to help. Real wealth isn't measured by what you keep. It's measured by what you're willing to share. The teacher smiled and reminded him, "The Bible doesn't simply teach people how to make money. It teaches them how to manage it with wisdom." For the first time, he wasn't chasing money anymore. He had learned to manage every blessing God's way. Then everything changed. A terrible drought struck the land, and months of hard work seemed ready to disappear. His savings became smaller each day. Every decision mattered. Fear whispered, "Give up." But wisdom told him to stay faithful. The old teacher gently placed a hand on his shoulder and said, "Fear creates bad financial decisions. Faith creates wise ones." Before making another move, he knelt beside his empty field and prayed. He trusted God before trusting his own emotions. Then something beautiful happened. Tiny drops of rain began to fall. Sometimes God's first blessing isn't abundance, it's hope. Little green shoots pushed through the soil. God's blessings often begin so small that many people fail to notice them. Even after disappointment, he planted new seeds. That's what faith does. It keeps sowing, even when yesterday brought pain. As his harvest returned, he helped rebuild the lives of others. The greatest investment he ever made wasn't in gold, it was in people. Standing beside the teacher, he realized something incredible. True prosperity had already taken root inside his own heart. He discovered that God's way doesn't promise instant riches. It builds something far greater, lasting wisdom, lasting peace, and lasting character. Looking across the river at sunrise, he finally understood that wealth always begins in the heart before it reaches the hands. He began teaching these lessons to children because the greatest inheritance isn't money, it's wisdom that lasts for generations. The more generously he gave, the richer his life became in ways that money could never purchase. Years earlier, he had chased wealth with all his strength. Now he chased purpose, and wealth simply followed faithful stewardship. The words of Jesus echoed in his heart, "Seek first the kingdom of God." Everything else finally found its proper place. He discovered that the richest person isn't the one with the biggest fortune, but the one whose heart belongs completely to God. Matthew 6:33 reminds us, "Seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things will be added to you." God's priorities always lead to lasting blessings. If this story encouraged you, subscribe and join us for more Bible and money lessons that can transform your life. Remember this: wealth may fill your hands, but only God's wisdom can truly fill your heart.